Hey, it's Greg Grunberg, Snap Wexley, and you are listening to 6th Scale Scavengers.
All right, Scavengers, welcome to episode 61 of the 6th Scale Scavengers podcast, talking Hot Toys, Marvel, Star Wars, DC Comics. I'm your host, Bryan Fontaine, joined as always with my good friends, TC and Chris Letty. Guys, we're on the eve of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's going to be a little bit different this year, depending on whatever you're choosing to do. Hopefully, whatever you do it safely. And this is a good opportunity as we kind of head into the holiday season here in the United States. And obviously we have scavengers all over the world, but just to really hone in on this episode on our way to give thanks for our community. That's our kind of our topic for the episode today. We have, guys, like so much news to talk about. Like we're probably going 40 minutes just on news alone today. The topic might not be, as much as possible there, but not only do we want to give thanks, but we also want to do some giving away of our thanks as well. So we want to, later in the show, we want to thank some members of our Hot Toys collecting community just for it really help Chris make what we do really special. Because when we first set out to do this, it still boggles my mind what this has become. And however many people come along for the ride. And I don't know, it's just, it makes me thankful for, obviously having both of you as friends, the rest of the admin team, our council, the community we have. I mean, we're not doing this to be famous, Chris. We're certainly not doing this for money. It's just the one thing I've gotten out of this whole thing and in 61 episodes and however many bonus ones we've done is just, the community aspect of this. That's where I'm most thankful.
Yeah, super thankful for everyone that enjoys listening to us and hanging out in the chat and our members on Facebook and, everybody that follows us on social media and everything. It's just great having this community and just, like you said, very thankful to have the support, and it's just it just makes the experience that much more enjoyable to share it with everybody out there.
Yeah, and you start off wanting to create a community to make good friends and forge those friendships, and as we grow, it doesn't change. And I think that's what I'm thankful for, just the growing community, but just the enjoyment everyone gets from what we're doing.
Yeah, for sure, guys. So we have I think this is going to be annual. So we are opening up the operating budget tonight to do some giveaways directly from where we pay our hosting fees and everything every month. That's our personal way of thanking every part of our community. And so we're going to have our first annual Giving Thanks Awards. And I don't want to spoil anything now, but actually we're going to name it after a scavenger, and so you'll hear who that is coming up, and I think this person's going to be pretty excited and honored to hear that. So, but anyways, before we get into news, guys, Chris, I know that you you're cheating on us with another podcast here recently, so.
Yeah, speaking of thankful, I was very thankful to be asked to be a part of an Ahsoka discussion roundtable on the Star Wars Prototypes and Production podcast with David Quinn, good friend of mine, and had a great conversation with a bunch of awesome collectors that all have an affinity for Ahsoka, and it aired last this week, and yeah, we had part one, and then we're gonna have, and that mainly focused on Ahsoka the character and her progression throughout her Star Wars history and that sort of thing. And then the next episode is going to be all about Ahsoka collecting, and we're hopefully going to record that next week. But I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a good fun discussion, and yeah, for anybody that's into Ahsoka, her popularity is growing, and who knows, it may grow even more coming soon.
Very cool, Chris. All right, so somebody in the chat just said, what are we talking about tonight? So we have our topic of giving thanks. We have 6 figure to talk about, either announcements or releases. Crazy. We've got photos for that. Our collection update. Promise you it's not as exciting as it has been lately. And that's not even trying to head fake anybody. It's the list is a lot smaller than it's been. So, and then we are going to be reviewing the Mandalorian TMS007. We probably could have reviewed this a couple episodes ago, but I think just with we'll talk about it with the deluxe Beskar version dropping. We'll obviously get into detail with that, but everybody's got it in hand. You can see it right behind me here. I kind of snuck it into my Shore Trooper DTOF lit up behind me. I needed to make an exception to get that on display. Chris has got his handy. TC's reaching for his, and it's a really good figure. And thanks to our friend Robert for in our Facebook group, he's been asking afterwards, after an episode drops, like, hey, everybody, what is your rating of it? Share photos. He actually had a great idea to do it in advance. So for the first time in a while, I feel like we may have done this once or twice before, we actually have a lot of photos of the Mandalorian TMS007 from Scavengers in their own collections. And everybody was kind enough to share some of their own ratings too. And very interesting. So we'll talk about that and our own. And yeah, it's just going to be a fun episode, guys. So let's not even bury the lead here anymore and get to some news. So the first one up is a figure that we talked about last time with Scott from the Parker Files. Was last time we had the tease of Miles Morales from his new PS4, PS5 Spider-Man game. It was literally, an hour after the podcast dropped that we got the actual official announcement.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the stats here, Chris, and then I'll throw it over to you first as obviously Spider-Man. Actually, Spider-Man's a favorite of both of yours. I don't know what I'm talking about here. VGM 46. The MSRP on this from Sideshow is $270. This was announced November 12th. Hot Toys estimate is Q1, Q2, 2022. Sideshow's estimate is January to March 2022. So at this point, basically 13, 14 months away.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting, we got the tease there last episode, but now, right afterwards, we got all the, the prototype pictures and kind of get the feel for what was going to come with this figure, the accessories and
Spider-Cat.
I know we got Spider-Cat, he's got his hat and his stockings. And I mean, I'm not, into the game and stuff, so I don't really know the context with some of those things. The accessories look great. The figure looks pretty good. There's a little bit of weird proportional stuff going on for me when he's doing some of his moves in his ab crunch and his legs up and stuff like that. But I mean, it looks like a cool figure. Miles's suit is just it's unique. It's the black base with the red spider and webbing and that sort of thing. So it just looks cool. But for me, I love Miles Morales. I think he's a great character for Marvel, and who knows where that character is going to go in the MCU if we do see him, but we definitely see him in the Spider-Verse. But this figure, I decided that it was not one that I was going to pursue. So, yeah. TC, what are you thinking?
I mean, I think it looks good. I just, like you said, Chris, I don't have any knowledge of the game. I don't have the new system, and I never played the game, so I don't know anything about the context. I'm guessing there's going to be more suits to come from this game, but this looks good. There's definitely a market for it, but it's also a pass for me.
So obviously you compare this with the advanced suit, Spider-Man from the the first release. We have it on the screen here. One thing I was just even noticing here too is I know Miles is known for having some pretty cool kicks. I didn't realize that he's actually wearing shoes for his costume here. I think that makes it a little bit easier for posing purposes, because you can probably, I'm already looking at the ankle seam there where it's not all one piece. I'm still seeing a little bit of concerns maybe with the the suit material, probably in like the lower waist and down. You see the seams there, but I think overall, I think if you're a fan of this new game, I see a bunch of scavengers like Sean out there right now saying that the game's pretty fantastic. I think it's probably one of the coolest accessories I've seen in a while. Hopefully, this cat's done a little bit better than Goose was.
Man,
if you can call that Flurkin a cat, but yeah, I think it looks decent. Again, it's not one that is in my wheelhouse for something I want to collect, but I think it's also got a lot of accessories here, and I'm not a Miles aficionado. I don't know exactly all of his powers, but I know he has the ability to like make himself invisible and send a shock, so it looks like
he's got like a venom strike.
Okay, yeah, so
yeah,
very cool. Very cool. So that is that. And all right, next up, guys, we've got, it's only going to be, one photo here, but the Darth Vader and Chris, I don't want to go to you twice in a row here, but I'm going to, just because, the vintage style packaging that we expected to see with the 40th anniversary Darth Vader. This was announced on May the 4th. We did our special episode where it was this and the vintage color Boba. So announced May 4th, released on November 19th. When you get a figure like this, especially when it's a reissue, they didn't give it the blogger treatment. For somebody than myself that I manage our database at 6scalescavengers.com, I know that sometimes I also have to check the secret base Facebook page, because then you'll get a photo like we've got on the screen here where it's basically just the box and the release. So that's what we're going to get. It's pretty much on point with what we expected. Hot Toys originally said Q3, Q4, and Sideshow, when we first put it up, this was delayed a little bit, Chris, because originally it was July to September. It's now November. Who knows when Sideshow's going to get it, but basically it's right on that precipice of 2 to 3 months later than they kind of expected here.
Yeah, I mean, people were wondering why it was getting pushed back, but it's good that it came out when it did, and it looks great. I mean, the vintage style 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back packaging looks awesome. Wonder how many people are going to keep it sealed in box. Probably not many, but the one little gripe I have about it in the box like this is that neck guard, like right in the middle of the window for the figure. It's like, I had noticed Hot Toys had gone away with that from that on some recent figures and stuff. I was like, oh, thankfully, but yeah, they went back to it with this one. But yeah, I mean, this is one I had on pre-order, and I decided I didn't need another Vader, and I did cancel this one a while back when I was purging some of those pre-orders. But yeah, it's a great opportunity. The prices were going up significantly for this figure in the aftermarket. And yeah, it's a pretty solid figure. You know, in as far as a Vader, and yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for people to pick that up and add it to their Empire Strikes Back collection.
Yeah.
TC, have you seen? Have you seen any of the mark? I know you're probably more in tune with a lot of the eBay stuff than Chris and I. Have you seen like the market dropping on this one, the original release at all?
I haven't really looked. It's I know it did, but I don't think it's back at retail. But I could be wrong on that. But this certainly is not going to help the original. But I would definitely leave it in the box personally, because they're going to do a Return of the Jedi Vader. You've got Rogue One Vader, A New Hope Vader, the original Empire Vader. If you want one out of the box, you can display one of those. To me, this would be kind of a cool look, even with that neck guard, which is a bit disappointing. If they didn't have that, it would be a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
But it does.
I guess you could open it, take the neck guard out, and reseal it back in. Chris is like, la, 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 la.
What's the point?
Yeah, I know.
No. Yeah, it's, again, and we thought we were going to get more from that Empire Strikes Back line to be able to display them all lined up, in the packaging like that. But, as of now, we've only gotten a few and a couple more down the pipeline, but they're not coming out for another year and a half.
Vintage Boba, regular Boba, Vader,
Lando.
Okay. Is the Luke one in the box too?
Yeah,
the pilot.
I think so. I think it will be.
So I think Jesse in our group was saying that, and I'm surprised I didn't catch this, that it looks like they've skipped a couple MMS numbers for some stuff that hasn't been announced yet. So there's some speculation that, Bespin Luke, and it could be at least one of those. And, we've heard it on good authority that there's more coming in that line for Empire here. So, we'll see. I'm very tempted by this. I have the Rogue One Vader, which I think is one of the best Vaders. But it would be, basically he could be the Rogue One, A New Hope Vader in 6 scale. I'm kind of tempted to want to add the Empire one, because if TC's right, I'm pretty sure he is, that, we could see the Return of the Jedi Vader as well, which is very similar to Empire, but also has enough differences that, Vader aficionados know exactly where the armor differs from movie to movie, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, very, very cool. And glad that people have the opportunity to repick that up now that, that there's the reissue that may have missed it that first time. TC, what the heck is this? Zombie Deadpool, a new line from Hot Toys here under Marvel Zombies, the comic masterpiece series. And I was surprised when I looked at this that I thought it was going to be comic masterpiece series 1, but actually this is number 6. There's some Japan, Magna, and Korean maybe that they've done a couple other figures before. But here we are, another Deadpool figure, a zombie figure. I mean, it looks good, but MSRP on this is $270, announced on November 19th as well. The estimates is Q4 2021 to Q1 2022. Sideshow's right online with that.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, first, it's not as it's made. It's well made. The problem is it's so niche that you're not going to get any carryover from Star Wars fans to buy this one, likely, of them a large majority, because there's going to be many more Star Wars releases down the pike. Your Marvel fans, your MCU fans, if they're a Star Wars and an MCU fan, they're probably not going to go for this. It's really going to be those Deadpool hardcore fans and whatever else this comes from the comics that's going to go for this. And I don't see it bringing in like a ton of, Hot Toys fans. It might bring in some collectors that want this specific figure. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting choice. I don't think there's a lot of carryover between lines from, the customer base. So I just I question it. I mean, it's, they went all out. I mean, there's all these accessories are, they're pretty cool, but it's just not for me, and I don't see it really selling that well.
I love Nathan's point. What's the point of having a zombie version of a character that regenerates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know,
I mean,
so Chris, I know this had a following.
Yeah.
It was pretty. I remember when the first one came out. I remember reading it, thinking it was kind of neat. They've gone to the. This is something they bring out. It feels like almost every year. I think it's been there, done that. It came out when The Walking Dead was just getting up and super popular.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, Chris. Maybe I mean, you're now in the 40 club. Happy belated birthday, by the way. And
Thanks.
I did wish you a happy birthday on that day, by the way. I said it wrong live. Can't go back and fix it now. But so, with The Walking Dead and stuff, as I get older here, Chris, I get less and less wanting to watch like horror movies, zombie movies. It just kind of grosses me out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, there's definitely got to be a market for this. This is just not what I want to have on the shelf. I mean, my son is 9. I don't think it's something I want him looking at on my collecting shelf.
Yeah.
I'd rather have.
Is there a market though?
There has to be. I mean, they decided to do all the R&D on this, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like you're saying, I mean, back when the Marvel Zombies line or comic series came out, I mean, that was height of The Walking Dead and TV show and that comic and that sort of thing. And I think I read the first 4 volumes of the trade paperback. A friend had them, and I borrowed them and read them. But now I lost interest in the Walking Dead show. I'm just not into the zombie thing anymore. And I mean, I love Deadpool, but not this Deadpool. I mean, I'd rather get a Domino from the movie or, another character or something than get this. But I mean, it is, again, pushing the bar for what Hot Toys can do. And they nailed the prototype. And, I'll just quote, the 6 Scale Economist. I mean, it was announced on November 19th, but it was forgotten on the November 19th. So. But yeah, I'm just, yeah, I know it's just not my thing. And I don't know. We'll see what happens here. But I mean, we've kind of gotten hints that this is only the beginning of this line, kind of like the Venomized thing, where we're going to see more zombified Marvel characters, and I won't be partaking.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, James says that zombies and Venom are so popular over in China. So, I mean, that's totally fine. It's just, I'm speaking for myself and my tastes and that sort of thing. It's just not my thing right now.
Yeah. All right. I would have led with this, but one thing that a little trade seek for everybody. I tried to organize the news in date and time order. So we go, oldest to newest when it comes to things. Like this needs a drum roll. This needs a drum roll, Chris. Why is Gamora?
How is Gamora?
How is Gamora? So we had heard on pretty good authority that, and I mentioned it, I may have been off by like an episode or so, but we had heard that she was going to be released within about 30 days or so. And maybe it was about 30 to 40 days or so. 933 days later, Chris.
Oh my God.
We have Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, originally announced May 2nd, 2018. Before there were 61 episodes of 6 Scale Scavengers, released on November 20th, 2020. Hot Toys originally thought they were going to have this to us Q2 to Q3, 2019. I don't have the date originally what Sideshow thought it would be because we obviously didn't do a lot of the database work on our website until like it was this spring that I put a lot of like probably like 150 to 200 hours worth of work into it. So I don't really have that, but MMS 483. I mean, we're approaching MMS 600 at this point with probably Mark 1. MSRP $251. Chris, I have to throw this to you first because, you know, it was a dopo for you.
Yeah.
You held strong.
Yeah. There's times I had doubt.
I mean, you can now have this Guardians 2 lineup.
Yeah, I mean, Stanley.
I mean, you can't even see Drax there because he's invisible. But
no, where'd he go? This is just obviously, you know, one of my most anticipated figures. Like you said, she was a dopo back in the day one pre-order, and I love Guardians of the Galaxy, both movies, and then their appearances in like the Infinity War and Endgame and that sort of thing, and had to have a full lineup. I didn't want to go backwards for the Guardians 1 Gamora, and yeah, I thought we would have had this a long time ago, and it just obviously in the entire 6 scale collecting community, it was a running joke of you know, where is Gamora? Why is Gamora? And from what it sounds like, I mean, I think they went back to the drawing board with the head sculpt or something that it really put it behind the 8 ball. And with everything going on with the pandemic, it really pushed things back even more. But for me, I mean, this face sculpt is just insane. I can't get over how much it looks like Zoe Saldana as Gamora. I just think, you know, that alone is what gets me with this figure. Yes, we've got rooted hair. Yes, we have to become 6 scale stylists to make it look good. Because the secret base, when they first put it out, it looked pretty rough. But all these blogger photos and then the pictures in hand and the reviews and stuff, it doesn't look that bad coming out of the box. You just gotta, you know, you gotta mess around with it, but she just looks awesome. This figure overall, I mean, everything about it, you know, her coat, her swords, her backpack, the pants, the boots, like the undershirt, like everything is just, I can't wait to have this figure paired with Gamora or Nebula and the rest of the team.
Yeah, I mean, it looks phenomenal. I mean, the prototype I never really liked. So that face, it looked a little puffy. Yep. And it just, like, I thought the original Gamora, when you compare to the prototype, was just as good. But yeah, like you said, Chris, I went back to the drawing board. I don't know who did the prototype, and it wasn't terrible. Just to me, it wasn't enough for me to really want to get this figure and really care about the delay. But it looks like the person that sculpted it, he goes by the trade name of Gokes. The same guy who I believe sculpted Alita, Battle Angel, Cable. He's doing the battle damage Mark 85. And that's the first time I think that they've used him for any of the Tony Starks, is that battle damage Mark 85. So he's got a lot of good work under his belt. And he might be Hot Toys' best sculptor at the moment. I don't know if he works for them or if he just partners with them, but this is a work of art. I mean, this is the head sculpt of the year, in my opinion. It's phenomenal. Man,
so good.
Now, it's like before, it has aspects I don't like. I don't like the pleather. Never have liked that. I don't like the rooted hair. But it's just such a good final product that I think I'm going to end up picking it up. I thought I ordered it. I told Sean Yahtzee I did, but I looked at all the records. I didn't. Check
the receipts.
Yeah, so I kind of do want the sisters in my collection. I don't have Yondu, but I think that'd be kind of a cool display. So it's just great.
I mean, you guys said a lot of it. So one thing I've added to my own personal database, what kind of drives the website, you won't see this on the website until I can figure out how to update it. But like I said, 933 days start to finish for Gamora. You guys want to know what the next oldest figure is at this point that's overdue?
You've already told us.
Well, you guys know I'm asking our audience rhetorically, but it's the Mark 85, March 30th, 2019, where I just punched it in. If it was going to be released tomorrow, I think it would be 607 days that we've had to wait for it. Captain America Endgame is right there. I think Star Wars only has about 4 figures from 2019 that were due. Rey and Kylo from Rise of Skywalker, IG-11, and Heavy Mando. Everything else was announced this year. So we've got so many Endgame figures to get to that they haven't gotten us yet. And a lot of them were from last year. And just looking at the year-over-year trends, I'm not expecting to get too much in terms of releases and new announcements from now to the end of the year. Certainly not releases, maybe announcements we're going to get. I would say we're at best going to get 1 to 2 more Marvel figures and then maybe a couple announcements. So, TC, where's Tony? I mean, that's why is Tony? That's the new one.
Where's the quantum suit Tony? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, he was like May or June, so he's got he's only at like 560 days old at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're at the point where come December, you're gonna really, like you said, you're gonna get a couple releases. So got a couple shots. It's probably gonna, my guess would be December. Just a random guess, just because it's an Iron Man figure that they want to get out, because they're gonna also want to push the Midas figure. So I don't think Midas will jump the regular 85 in production. Just a hunch. But
so they usually will, for some reason, if you look back historically, they always have a release on January 1st. At this rate, they might as well just release the Mark 85 on January 1st. I mean, the last couple of years, we got Doctor Strange, the from Infinity War. I think the beginning of this year was Endgame Thanos. So, I mean, what I guess what's another 30 days, guys? I mean, eventually we're going to get it here. So, there's stuff like that happening. And then TC, my friend, I got to give you a ton of credit because you called it with Beskar Mando, leapfrogging Heavy Mando, IG-11. This was announced March of this year, but I think you were able to kind of put the tea leaves together when Sideshow moved up their release window from April to July of next year to January to March, that it was only fitting that they probably wanted to get this out, especially if they have teased our Mando in season 2 garb. Not that it's that much updated from what we're seeing here on the screen, but the one we've seen with the speeder bike is they want to get this thing out. And obviously Mando is probably one of the hottest properties in the entire world at this point, especially with Baby Yoda, the child. So this was a dual release, TMS14 and TMS15, the deluxe and standard version of the Mandalorian and the child. We got some pretty insane blogger photos to go through here. So the MSRP of the standard was $259. The deluxe was $313. Like I said, originally announced on March 18th of this year and then released on November 23rd, only 250 days from beginning to end. And I think thankfully they probably could reuse some of the parts from the original release that we'll talk about later, but there's enough different about this. And it was obviously early. We weren't expecting to see this until April to July next year. And TC, I am so jealous of you that you've got this on the way from Mr. Tim Cent, Toys Buying Agent.
I do. Back in March 18th was the date I ordered it. And I think I don't usually ever do anything first batch from Hong Kong, but I was just looking at the pricing and it wasn't, I think this is, what is it, $313 for the deluxe at Sideshow. I could get this with the EMS shipping for like $350 was what it was for first batch. I had to pay it all up front, but I really wanted this figure. This is one of my most anticipated figures of the year. It has not disappointed. Looking at these photos, and lo and behold, I mean, what is it? April, May, June, July, August, September, 6-7 months since I pre-ordered it. I'm happy. And Tim Cent shipped it and it's on the way. And hopefully by the time the next podcast rolls around, I'll have it. But I think this is the one to get. I know the traditional thought is, everyone's going to want the original costume. Yeah. That original costume also comes with next to nothing when you compare it to this one. Double Baby Yoda, the pram, the Camtono container with the Beskar, the hologram, several other accessories, and the jetpack we're looking at right now. And that Baby Yoda's magnetic, so you can maneuver it in its pram. This is amazing. I think Zach on Collecting Weekly said it. He said it's a little bit annoying that this figure came with some of the accessories. Really, the first figure should have had. So original Mando should have that pram, I think.
The Camtono.
The Camtono. But they all came with this one. And in the day, accessories do drive sales sometimes. Endor Luke, Deluxe being one of them versus the regular Luke. This is the one to get. Don't sleep on this one. I know there's more Beskar in the future. There's going to be a season 2 version, but this is a special release. Don't sleep on it.
I mean, TC, you just said it. Said it best. Chris, before I throw it over to you, the point I wanted to make, and I actually noticed that Jankin, our buddy at Figure Collecting for Dummy, I didn't even realize that the Camtono actually had a light up feature in it. I saw it in his video that he was showing that. We have it on screen here. But, TC, you're right. I haven't had a chance to listen to the most recent Collecting Weekly with Zach and Dean yet. But, if they did say that, some of the accessories would be better suited to go this one, that meme that I always use is, why not both? I really plan on, Chris, using the pram with the first release. The Camtono goes with the first release. I don't mind mixing and matching these. I have, again, we're not going to talk spoilers at all. I've got Mando fever so bad right now. And I guess my only criticism before I throw it over to you, Chris, and somebody noticed it, and I don't really care too much because, technically Baby Yoda, the child, is kind of an accessory here. It lacks the hair on the top of the head and on the ears. Other than that, it looks great. And there's no ear seam.
No, there is no ear seam. Yeah, you guys, you said it all. This set, especially the Deluxe, this is what 6 scale Hot Toys collecting is all about. This figure, all the goodies, everything you can do with it. And if you do have the first release, you can mix and match and really build on that first Mando release display. I just love this set so much. You get 2 Baby Yodas, 2 of the child. It's just an insane grouping of accessories for this figure. I just, and I'm just amazed at how early it is. Maybe they projected on purpose to give themselves a little bit of leeway. It makes perfect sense for it to get released during season 2. I was a little bit worried about the figures being backlogged past the end of season 2. We can watch it anytime, but the height of the Mando fever, as Bryan has, is during the season, the anticipation of what's to come with the next episode. And there's obviously more figures to come. So you want to capitalize on that hype, while it's going on. And it's great to have the figures in stock and coming our way. Us who ordered it from, Sideshow and other US retailers, hopefully we'll get it sometime, by the end of the year or maybe sometime in January. That would be awesome. But yeah, love this figure, everything about it. I'm sure it'll have the same. I haven't watched any reviews on it yet, but I'm sure it's got some of the similar issues as far as mobility goes, but looks just simply amazing.
Yeah, so quickly, one bad thing about it is the Baby Yoda doesn't have any articulation. Neither one does. Everything's
Gotcha.
fixed, but that's okay. Another side note, Toys Wonderland was selling this figure, the Deluxe, $590, and it said sold out on their website. I haven't seen a figure, six scale figure, upon release go for anything close to that, unless you're talking maybe one of the Iron Man figures back at the peak of the MCU. That's insane.
Yeah, I know Jesse in the group had said that he talked to the people at Secret Base and they were supposedly getting more stock because they were sold out apparently when he went. And I don't know what, it's interesting that, the figure is just that much in demand right off the bat. I mean, I'm not surprised because it's Mando, but I mean, it's just crazy that we just don't see that often.
I mean, he's even time traveling here to go take out K2SO. I mean, sorry, I just noticed that.
Yeah.
But the blogger photos, they work with what they have and they mix and match. But I mean, they gave this thing, as our friend, Mark said, they gave this the Marvel treatment. Jingle Bell and a lot of the other awesome photographers out there. I mean, I'm so excited for this, and especially after just opening my, the version 1 of the figure. And I think obviously I do have some concerns about the first release, and we'll talk about like some of the fat suit removal and different things people have done to try to give it a little bit more articulation. The hands rubbing paint off on the rifle and the pistol and stuff. So it's not without fault. However, like, I'm with UTC. Like this, I doubt I'll be able to get mine in hand before the end of the year. So I don't know if I can qualify this as a figure of the year candidate, but I mean, technically it's released in 2020. It could be on our list. We'll see. But I think it's different enough from the first version that I think you could have both on your shelf. And like I said before, Mando is just so freaking cool that, give me all the Mandos. I don't care. Just incredible.
Yeah.
All right. We do have one more figure to talk about. Speaking of the Mandalorian guys, we've got here we go. So I walk and chew gum here at the same time. So the Tusken Raider guys, we talked about this last time as a tease. Another figure here from the Mandalorian, Chris, to your point, strike while the iron's hot. This is TMS028. The MSRP of this is going to be $250. Just released yesterday on November 24th. We're not going to see this to the beginning of 2022, which, I mean, it sounds so far away, but when you really think about it, I mean, 13 or 14 months away, pretty standard for Hot Toys now. I just have to wire my brain differently to think that, okay, maybe the beginning of, 2022 isn't all that far away. So Chris, as a vintage collector, one of the original 12 here.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like we talked about, it was teased there a couple weeks ago. It's just it's a great looking figure. I mean, Hot Toys gave you this setup with all these different straps and pouches. So that way you can mix and match army build. Yep.
All right. It's so crazy to like think the concept of army building a hot toy at the price point these are, but people are crazy as 6-scale collectors.
I know. A lot of people are, talking about having two figures. You start looking at the price point, and we do have to remember this figure is coming out in 13, 14, 15 months. So the pricing is according to, inflation and that sort of thing. But I mean, you do wish that the figure was in that 220, 225 range. Because when you start piling them up, it does add up quickly. I haven't checked prices with the Hong Kong sellers to see what their numbers are at, but it's worth checking if you are going to army build, maybe go direct from Hong Kong. Just a cool looking figure. I mean, it looks pretty clean. Looks like he just came from the the dry cleaner. But yeah, I think great looking figure. Maybe could have used a little bit of weathering, but if you're a customizer or something, you could do it yourself and make it the way you want it.
Yeah, so TC, one point on this, and I've also seen, whether it's feedback or criticism about this figure, that it looks a little too clean, but it actually is fairly screen accurate to what we've seen. We saw these last season in Chapter 5. You may or may not have already seen them in Season 2 at this point. We'll neither confirm nor deny that, but yeah, I don't know. I know initially TCI said last time out that I wasn't too sure about it. It's if I'm going full Mando again on the line, I'm teetering on that. I mean, you almost have to. I mean, this fits in with A New Hope. If you get like some Tamara powder or whatever it's called, I'm not a customizer. You could dirty this up a little bit more, but I don't know. I think they've done all right here though, TC.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fine. This is one where if you're going with the whole Mando line, I think you got to get it. That they did play, a pretty big role in an episode, so it's not like they were just there for 2 minutes. This is, pretty. It's a great figure because, like you said, you can put this in with maybe in a New Hope display as well. It's got a lot of crossover appeal, and I think the Only Fools in Collecting crew on Collecting Weekly were talking about how Hot Toys released one, they would for sure get this, and sure enough, like a week later, it dropped. So, kudos to everyone who wants one. I think it's just classic Star Wars, so I think that's also a lot of the appeal. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to pre-order it now because I don't think it's going to be one where, it's going to sell out immediately or it's going to spike right out the gate. But it's definitely something to keep my eye out for.
Yeah, I'm right in line with you too. Definitely, putting one on the want list. Would love to get two, but that's wishful thinking. But yeah, I'm gonna hold off on pre-ordering this one. I'm just gonna kind of see how things play out with other releases, and we just trying to kind of get away from the pre-orders piling up. Just want some of those ones to clear off the board before I add more to it.
Oh man, 6 figures is a lot. So just some other general updates that we've been seeing. We'll kind of just go around the horn here. We didn't actually have these in notes. I screwed up and forgot to add them, but I do know that Solo Darth Maul is shipping out soon from a lot of other retailers. I know Sideshow was sending it out last month. Sideshow had been sending out some Commander Cody. I heard from Ray at Underground Figures that I think December 7th, he's expecting to get a shipment of Cody figures in. So you're going to start to see those if you've ordered at any of the smaller retailers. The Death Trooper, I've heard from Steven, is coming out around that same time frame, the beginning of December. And Qui-Gon is also going to be sending out pretty soon from the other smaller retailers. So December, guys, is going to be a pretty busy month for Star Wars collectors like myself.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have all of those coming from various retailers. Kind of glad that they're spread out with a couple different retailers, so I don't get them all in one shot. But yeah, it's great. It's great to get those figures into collectors' hands that have been waiting for so long. And again, like I was saying, like clear the slate and continue for the or anticipate the next wave that's going to be coming out here.
For sure. All right. We're 49 minutes in and just finishing up news. So that just shows you what kind of a crazy, even as of a couple days ago, it wasn't going to look like we were going to have that much to talk about. And, with 6-scale collecting and with Hot Toys here, they have so much in the pipeline currently. There's quite a lot to come, obviously, that we can, continue to talk about here. So let's shift over to our own collection updates here as we have our scavenger updates. We'll go through the three of us. I'll start since I usually go last. And like I said, it's not as crazy as it's been, but I will say I'm teetering on the Mando fever, and I've done a lot of window shopping lately, of Sideshow clones for some reason. I have the Phase One Captain Rex, and I can't pull the trigger on it when I see the prices and I look at, okay, well, one of those equals to 2 or 3 Hot Toys figures. The Hot Toy figures win every time. So I just need to get out of this little, I can't say it's a funk, but it's, I want Hot Toys to give us more clones, more commanders, more captains, more ARC troopers. Just, I want them. I want them all, but I have to be patient. Those are going to be the Toy Fair exclusive figures next year, the repaints of the clones. So I'll just be patient there. So anyway, so I finally did get my my Black Widow in from Steven at Steven's Collectible. I've been talking to him for a while when he was going to get one. I obviously could have got one from Sideshow long ago, but I like giving my my hard-earned collecting money to the smaller guys, the smaller retailers out there. So he sent that. And then I had said these most recent Mando episodes and those spoilers have just reignited the passion I have for the show. And I wasn't full in on the Mando line, but I kind of decided I wanted to at least give myself a chance to be full on the line if I wanted to. I'd previously sold my Remnant Trooper on eBay. I have one on the way from Pop Culture right now. And I also have an Incinerator Trooper in hand from Steven's Collectibles as well. He had made a post on either Facebook or Instagram, and I reached out to him. He still had one, so he sent that over. And glad to have those. I'm still waiting for the Remnant Trooper heading over the over the Pacific and all the way from Australia, but that's the only place that still had them in stock, and a little bit over retail. So, and then anyways, so mentioning, I had the details of where Steven said that he was going to get a Death Trooper, him being the good, Hot Toys dealer / drug dealer. And I'm not saying Steven is a drug dealer by any means, but Hot Toys are kind of cracked sometimes. He reached out to me and said, "Hey, Bryan, I noticed you didn't have a Death Trooper on order with me. I'm getting some in at the beginning of December." And I had just been looking earlier today. I'm like wondering if I was going to get one or not from Sideshow. And I was like, all right, well, while you're here and talking, I'm like, yeah, put me down for one. So at the beginning of December, I've got a Death Trooper from the Mandalorian on the way from Steven. So, and again, Steven, I'm not meaning to say you're a drug dealer by any means. That probably came out wrong.
Too
but
funny.
Live broadcast here on YouTube and on the audio feed here. So anyways, that's what's going on with me. Nothing too crazy. No sales still, knock on wood. So Chris, we'll go with you next.
Well, speaking of stuff happening live, we did get a Geeksgiving code.
Oh, crud.
And
just now?
It's happening right now. I just input it $5. $5 reward right now. Wrap it up, Geeks 20. Do it, people. Get the $5. Nice. So anyway, enough of that. Hopefully everybody can grab that. Thanks, Braulio. In the chat. Yeah, Sideshow rewards. Geeksgiving is going on right now. We've been getting a pretty decent amount of codes.
Yes, I got it.
Nice. The past few days. And yeah, I'll take $5, whenever I can. I mean, my collection update is pretty weak. But it kind of that Miles Morales video game figure kind of pushed me over the edge to finally commit to the Spider-Verse figures. The Miles from that and the Spider-Gwen. So I pre-ordered both of those from Ray at Underground Figures. Wanted to make sure I locked him in at his price point. And a couple of days later, he had no more Spider-Gwen on his website. So seems like his allotment for her filled up. But yeah, I'm excited to add those as a little subline for the figures. we'll see what else comes from that. We know that there's a second movie coming out, I think next year. But yeah, just want to lock in those figures. I know it's kind of random, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I don't really have. I mean, I got some other stuff non 6 scale, but we don't need to go there. TC, you're up.
Yeah. Well, I got the Beskar Mando on the way.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully next time I'll have in hand. I say hopefully, knock on wood. Because it seems like lately every time I say something like definitive, it like doesn't happen. So we're going to hope that arrives. But I did sell one figure. I did sell my Mark 5, and that is I know. It's one of my
Crazy
favorites.
town.
One of my favorites, but I've been doing some speculative investing along with Chris. We don't need to get into high detail.
Yeah, this is funny. Bryan, where are you? There's my my screenshot of my hand on forehead here.
Where's our buddy Cletus?
Yeah. So I needed some funds for that portion, and then also like I've been doing some work in the office, and like I've been getting some of these prints framed, and I needed to cover some of those expenses. So the Mark V is very costly right now, and I also bought it for a premium. So like I didn't buy it for retail, so I think I bought it for like $600. So if I can get more than what I paid for it now, I figured now's a good time to sell it. I think it's coming back. If it doesn't come back, it doesn't come back. But I think it's coming back in the next year. And because of that, I didn't want to wait, lose $300 when I can use it for something else now, put it back in, keep my, put the equity into my collection somewhere else. And so that's why I ended up selling that figure. But that's it.
Man, we've talked in the past. It's tough. It's tough holding on to figures that have a high price tag, especially if you got them at retail or, you can.
It's Iron Man. That's the problem.
I know.
If it was any other figure, like if it was the Yondu or just say like a
Scarlet Witch or something.
Scarlet Witch, I would not be as concerned. But it's their primary figure. That it'll always be primary for Hot Toys, and when it spikes in the secondary market, and it's been a high price for a long time, it's prime candidate to come back in some capacity. They've only used the mold once; has not been used for anything else. It's sitting, waiting. So I took the plunge and sold it.
Yeah. I keep on bouncing around that idea of, do I risk doing, selling it and stuff? But for me, because I bought it at retail, like I don't have that weight kind of hanging over me as much, of paying a little bit more than retail. So I'm okay holding on to a figure like that. But it's something that we've talked about in the past, when to sell, when to
like
hold on to it. Just
really quick, like if you look at it if you're just talking about strictly the money, if you can get 800 now, you then put that back in to 3 figures. You get Gamora, you get Nebula, you get whatever, Mando. That's 3 figures that you've now tripled your opportunity for them to go up in value, and that's expanded your Hot Toys portfolio. The Mark V can only go so high. It'll get capped because it's not a finite supply. It's likely if it goes higher that Hot Toys would pull the trump card and bring it back into production. Yeah. So that's my thought. But I could be wrong. May never come back.
They could always do a Neon Tech version.
That I would take that.
I know you would. That's why I said it. So, all right, not as crazy as it's been, but I think at least for me, I have no plans to sell anything. I whittled my collection down so much that it's just more of what I can take in, and I'm even exploring kind of my budget process a little bit too, where I think even being so rigid really led me to make some decisions that I ended up just having to undo anyway. So I know I've been talking to our friend, Sean in the group as well about, embracing as I've been calling it, the Combat Carl budget. Combat Carl finds a way. So we literally just watched Toy Story 4 tonight, and I had never watched it all the way through. And I was like,
Wait a second, Combat Carl. That's what Brian's talking about.
Yeah, it was. I think. Well, we watched it recently because it was the Toy Story of Terror. That there's the Halloween special they did a couple of years ago that we watched recently, and that's where he uses that line on Jesse as Jesse finds the way. So, anyways,
Brian, throw up Kellen's comment. Kellen Rosen Treader.
I'm purging. So Kellen's saying I'm purging all my non-Star Wars. First time selling figures. It's kind of sad, to be honest. Does it get easier? Well, it does, Kellen. Once you sell a few, it gets easier, but really make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. I ended up getting a lot of the ones I sold back. And again, that's why I'm just trying to say, like, if there's something out there that I really want, try to make a sacrifice somewhere else, before doing that, having to basically get all my Iron Man figures so that I can enjoy them. They're all sitting here to my left, Hulkbuster here. Every time my son comes in the room, that's the first thing he looks at is all the Iron Man figures. It's his favorite superhero at the moment. So just do it if you're not going to have any regrets. And obviously make sure your collection mirrors, what you want to walk into your room when you see what your eye is drawn to, and don't just keep things just because you're supposed to. Keep it because you want it and it means something to you, and it kind of invokes that that emotion that you might have towards it that led you to buy them in the first place. So, anyways, thanks for mentioning that, TC. I probably would have missed. I try to keep tabs on the comments going here, but running the board, looking at the agenda all here at the same time, it's amazing that I can walk and chew gum here at the same time, and we have a somewhat coherent produced show here. That's completely live. Completely live. All right. Anyways, so let's move over to our topic. And as we mentioned, we're on Thanksgiving Eve. If you're just tuning in now, tomorrow, it's going to be it's going to be very different for a lot of people. I know myself included. Some people are still choosing to get together. Some people are just deciding to, either go solo or keep it to who's in your household and stuff. Just whatever you do, be safe about it, and still, give thanks. I mean, we're at a time of year, we've been through a lot this year with, everything going on, and we can only hope that, the best days are ahead of us at this point. So we wanted to give thanks to our Hot Toys community. Chris, you and I, the three of us, were talking about at the beginning of the episode. This is what it is because of the community. It's our Facebook group, our private Facebook group that I think is now 357 people. I thought we were going to have 10 in there at one point, and I just figured it was going to be our closest friends that were just only there to humor us. When you create something, a page or a group, and you just send it to all your Facebook friends and say, "Hey, join my page." I thought that's what it was going to be, but it's turned into something that we didn't expect, and we just want to thank everybody tuning in live right now. Whether you're listening afterwards on the audio download, you're catching the video replay at another time. I know we've got 45 scavengers tuning in live at this point, and that's what we want to do. So we've talked about it before. There's obviously costs associated with the show, whether it's equipment, hosting fees for the podcast, website fees and stuff. And we do try to recoup and make sure that we don't have to pay things out of pocket. We have our website that has eBay affiliate links. We're all wearing, Six Skill Scavengers shirts at the time right now from TeePublic. Roy has designed all of our logos there. And, that's just what we do to keep the lights on and stuff. But, we did have a little bit of a surplus at this point. And I thought we all kind of discussed as a council, the three of us, Mike, Roy, and Scott, and decided that we wanted to give back. I wish we could give something to everybody, but like I said, this is all money coming out of our budget. Individually, it might not seem a lot, but when we talk about, the total amount that we're giving away here, it's a pretty significant part of our budget, and maybe it's a little bit of a risk to do it, but I wanted to, just because we want to give back here. So as I mentioned, this is hopefully going to be the first of many annual Giving Thanks Awards, plural. And I just wanted to, I don't think anybody else in the council thought it was as good of an idea as I did, but I got to stick to my guns sometimes. And I thought it was important that we named it after a scavenger that exemplifies everything that it means to be kind of a scavenger, helping people out, either giving good deals, being a positive part of the community, being very interactive all the time. Those are all things that we strive for as collectors. We're not here just amassing stuff. There's a part of the process that there's the friendship and the sense of community and belonging and stuff that comes with this whole thing too. So as we get going here, so this is going to be the first annual Gare Bear Giving Thanks Award winners. We are going to give away. We had a top 5 and we added +1, so we have 6. I went through our private Facebook group and the last 2 months and pulled all the analytics and found out who were the most active people of our community, whether it's generating posts or commenting. I wish I could grab likes and stuff like that, but ideally people driving the conversation, getting involved, and really just helping create that positive environment that we have. We have an admin team, a moderator team of 6 people. It's so infrequently that we have to delete a post or somebody's getting out of line that we have to, step in and involved. I mean, it's really great, Chris.
Yeah. We thank everybody in the group for just the great interaction and the camaraderie and the just the positive nature to posts and comments and helping and all that comes with being a scavenger and that sort of thing. It's just it feels awesome having this group. Now, I know we say it a lot, but I mean it really means a lot to us. And coming up with these awards, it's just showing that we are thankful for all those that really put in the time and want to be a part of the group and the interaction and keeping those conversations going. I mean, that's a big thing is, it's great to get posts, with here and there, but the main thing is to get people talking and helping each other out and building on those friendships within the scavenger community. It's that's what we ask for, and these 6 really exemplify that to a T, and that's why we've done this, and hopefully for years to come.
So TC, we've got we're going to go through and announce who the 6 people are. We're going to kind of share our quick thoughts about each scavenger a little bit. So I mentioned 6. We are going to give away 6 $25 gift cards from the Six Scale Scavengers operating budget, and one of those is also sponsored by Scott over at Parker Files, and so we're very happy to go ahead and do that, Chris, at this point. So we just maybe lost TC temporarily here, but hopefully he's able to come back.
Yeah.
So I think without further ado, and these are in really no particular order. And again, it's not slighting anybody that's part of our community, in the YouTube community here, or anybody downloading on the podcast. It's a very one-sided conversation sometimes when it's the 3 of us talking, and we've got the stream chat going at the same time. We have so many people talking amongst each other, giving us ideas of things and stuff to kind of talk about here too. But
yeah.
All right,
yeah.
I was stalling a little bit. I was hoping TC was going to be able to rejoin
got
here.
Some technical stuff going on.
Yeah, so we'll I'll just double check to see if he's chatted in our council chat here. But so hopefully he'll pop back on. But Chris, the show will go on here, so we'll continue to, we're going to continue to, go forward with our awards. So these first 6 are part of the first annual Gare Bear Giving Thanks Award winners. And I just saw Mr. Gare Bear popped in. So we did lose TC, unfortunately. So hopefully he's able to pop back in here. But, so we'll just go ahead and we'll carry on here.
Yeah.
So like I said, these are in no particular order. And again, these were based on interactions within our private Facebook group, posts made, comments made. So TC just said his battery died, so hopefully he'll be able to, get back on here. But all right, anyways, so like I said, Chris, I'll go down through the list. We'll kind of share some of our thoughts about each one of these people. So up first is Robert O. Robert O is one of our first award winners. I looked back at by far one of the people that made the most comments, like so far out in front of everybody. Like he was in first place by like a landslide. Obviously he's tuning in live now. I've met Robert in person at Walt Disney World, and he is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. I was on vacation with my family, and I found time to, we must have just chatted collecting and everything in general for probably about 45 minutes or so. My wife was ready to shoot me at this point. But we carried on. So, Robert's, he's got his own diorama, and he's just a really positive part of our community. So Robert, and again, as I said, each one of these people reach out to me after the show, and we'll square away either a gift card to Sideshow, or if you've got another place that you like to do, your shopping for collectibles at, we'll go ahead and do that. So,
yeah. I mean, I'll just touch on Robert as a amazing member of the community. He's just I love how he keeps the conversations going. He's always making great posts. He's really helped us. Gare, this is you represent such a positive part of the community, and this is we want to show that to everybody else. So, but and Robert really fits that bill, and he's a collector that's got this amazing comic book collection, and then he's got his the 6 scale figures, and I love how interactive he is, and he gives us a lot of great ideas. He's really helped us over the past few years, just with those topics and discussion points. So that's a huge part for us.
For sure. All right. Up next was Hidalgo, the town crier. I joke with him all the time that I've got my Magic 8-Ball out. He is one of the ones that has the ability to take what the sideshow, he can predict what the sideshow price of a figure is going to be like the night before based on the Hong Kong price. And is always Johnny on the spot when it comes to any of the Hot Toys official announcements. I usually, him and I kind of usually duke it out to see who's going to post it first. Sharing reward code group things. I mean, Hidalgo is just, as I said, he's kind of the Scavengers town crier, ready to, whether it's sideshow, low stock,
Adam Schefter.
He's the Adam Schefter of the 6 scale Scavengers. That's Hidalgo.
He's got the scoop. He's always got the scoop.
So Hidalgo is our second winner of a $25 gift card here from the 6 scale Scavengers.
Yeah, again, adding so much content to and conversation to the group. He's just got great perspective, and I love that he really helps everyone with all that information and getting it to us as soon as he can, and get that conversation going as early as possible, even if it's at like 2 a.m.
I'm pretty sure he's on the West Coast, so
Yeah.
that helps a little bit. But anyways, so keeping things out on the West Coast, our next one is Chris M. Duke Fett, who's also a co-host of the Dork Lair podcast with Bill Dranowski. Actually, I got the Dork Lair up and running with Bill a couple years ago, so it's great to see Chris as part of that that hosting team now, and is such a great collector. Always very insightful with things that he shares. He's very active in our community, in our 6 scale community. Even Dork Lair is more focused on the 6-inch figures, not 6 scale, so the 1/12, and is just very well versed. Is dabbles in a lot of different things, and I personally appreciate all the different insight and interactivity that he gives in a different community outside. I mean, he could easily just stick to his to the Dork Lair group, but it's great to see somebody like Chris also contributing to our community.
Yeah,
he's one of the originals, one of the very first members into the group. I think he was there right after me or right before me. So,
yeah, absolutely. And he's been keeping those conversations going ever since day one. Always being very insightful. I mean, obviously he was in the 6 scale game, before myself, and I think before Bryan, and he's really active in like the forums and that sort of thing. So he can draw on a lot of different things and add those to the conversation that maybe we don't really get into too much. And I appreciate the insight for sure. Definitely from another podcaster.
All right. So Chris, again, like I said with the others, reach out to me and we'll hook you up with that $25 gift card. Our 4th award winner of the annual Gare Bear Giving Thanks Award is Jason S. And Jason's been a longtime member. He's posted a selfie of himself before in one of our 6 scale scavenger shirts, and is just a super awesome part of our community. I personally love looking forward to Jason's reviews of Star Wars figures. He gets them pretty early from either Sideshow or overseas. He seems to be one of the people in the group that always has things first, and just gives really insightful reviews. We've probably mentioned some of his review thoughts, previously. So I think he's also, Chris, a great part of our community.
Oh yeah, Jason's great. I mean, he was one of the first members that ever donated a giveaway, and he was repping 6 scale Scavengers gear, pretty much from the get-go. So we always love that support. And Jason's just a great, he's always got great points, and I love hearing his reviews of the figures, and he's always got great poses in his displays. It's just again, just a solid member of the community, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. He, like you said, he's always giving those reviews, commenting on posts. I see him and Robert, they comment on a lot of posts, and they're very active, and it's just great to have their perspective. I know I missed Robert's his piece, but if I could just charge my computer properly, so I apologize.
It's all right. The show goes on. We've been doing this long enough that we can just roll. I mean, a couple episodes ago, I froze for about 10 minutes of it while you guys just carried on. So it happens. All right. So 2 more to go here. Our 5th award winner of the Gare Bear Giving Thanks Award is Jesse Lowe, who is obviously over in Hong Kong, has the ability to get into Secret Base. I know he's a part of a lot of groups, but he's also right there sharing in hand, photos at Secret Base, is commenting on a lot of posts. He's very active in the 6 scale community, and obviously very thankful that we have him as part of our community as well.
Yeah, he's boots on the ground. He gives great perspective because he's there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. That type of information in perspective is invaluable to a group like this, because only so many people have access. So, you're limited in, in your access from stateside. All you can see is what people in Hong Kong show. So like him, and then Jenkin, and Jenkin Wong's another great group member. Those guys are boots on the ground. They have the first person. Their perspective is right there, and we're thankful.
Yeah, and Jesse he posts so much, and again, a lot of stuff that keeps the conversations going, and that's what we love, and it's great having somebody over in Hong Kong be able to go to Secret Base and take pictures and grab the figures day of, just because it's hard for us. I mean, we're in the US, we don't have anything like that over here. We always have to wait to see. I mean, the chances of ever getting over there are pretty slim, at least for a long while. And I think it's great just having someone over there that's a part of the community and wants to share and wants to help us out, so that way we can produce, the podcast and have a lot of things to talk about. And I think, he's always got, whether it's Hot Toys, 6 scale, third party stuff, whatever. I mean, he is pretty knowledgeable when it comes to any of those lines. And it's great chatting with him.
Yeah. So Jesse, obviously Sideshow probably is not going to be the choice of your $25 gift card, but if you reach out to me, we'll settle up with you. But I couldn't have an award list here without having all the contributions that you give to us. So thank you. All right. And the final, and I left this last on purpose. You really can't have an award named after Gare Bear if Gare Bear is not one of the award winners. Like I said at the opening, just really exemplifies what it means to be a scavenger. When I think of a scavenger, and of course, obviously, if Mike wasn't on the admin team, he would have been my pick. I've said it long before. Mike's my favorite scavenger. But you're part of the admin team now, my friend. So you're kind of you're not eligible for the award. I know Mike's obviously out in the moderating duties right now in the live chat. But yeah, Gare Bear is just when I think of the prototypical scavenger, I think of Gare Bear. In terms of just everything that he brings to the community, just super positive, super helpful, engaging, generates a lot of topics, interacts with a lot of different topics. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say one bad thing about him. And, I think when we think about, giving thanks for the community that we have, we can't have that without the people involved in it. So, I mean, that was my, obviously I could keep going on and on, about Gare Bear here. So, I mean, get me wrong. I mean, obviously that's not his real name. It's obviously, the nickname that he went by the longest time in our group, but we all know
artist formerly
known as Gare Bear.
Yeah, I know. It was funny because when he first got involved with the community, he had one name, and then his name changed, and then his name changed again, and then it changed back. And then, so that's why we always say the artist formerly known as Gare Bear. But I mean, and he's even like his outside of the community, his everything that he discusses and posts about, and on social media and that sort of thing. I mean, he's always trying to get the most positive out of every situation and really look at things in a way that is you're taking into account those individuals, where they're coming from, and really trying to evaluate the situation, not lay judgment without knowing all the facts and stuff. So, I mean, that just speaks to the type of person he is, and we can all, learn a little bit about being kind and positive, and especially in these times. So yeah, Gare Bear, I mean, this one's for you. And, you know, this is a great inaugural Gare Bear Giving Thanks Award ceremony. And look forward to, seeing who's on that list next year. So anybody out there, they're going to have to start piling up those, the activity on the group and stuff to beat any of these guys out.
Yeah. What a scavenger. Gare's the prototypical scavenger. So really appreciate you, man. Like everything Bryan and Chris said, I echo. And thankful to have you on board. And thankful to all the scavengers. So, and congratulations to those who won.
Yeah, so everybody reach out to me afterwards, and we'll get you squared away. I wish we had something for everybody. And obviously, we're certainly not making any money doing this. But this is one way we thought, would be the best way to give back here. So thank you everybody. Wow, a little more emotional about that than I thought it would be. Speaking of emotional, I'm super emotional about the Mando. Like, I've been dying. I've been wanting to do this as the review. And guys, I didn't even break it out of the box until this past Saturday. I wanted to wait till my Maji cases arrived. What an ordeal that's been. I thought I was going to have them at the beginning of the month. They're actually en route to my house right now from California. I thought I'd have them Friday so I could have the long weekend to set them up. Looks like they might not arrive until Monday. So I know I've been studying up on Scott at the Parker Files, his Maji case review setup. That was his first video that he did. So I have my, you can't see it in frame of where I am here, but I've got my Shore Trooper in a box on top of my DTOF there. Ceremoniously, that has to be the first figure to go in the DTOF. The second figure, guys, is the Mandalorian going in. TMS007, MSRP $243. This was announced during a New York Comic-Con 2019, October 3rd, right in line with IG-11. We don't have IG-11 yet, but we have two versions of the Mandalorian out. Figure. This released on August 3rd in Hong Kong. It was 305 days from announcement to release, and it came early. Hot Toys originally thought it would be Q4 2020 to Q1, and then obviously the sideshow date, it's a little skewed, but it definitely came early. And just going back to the blogger photos that we'll have up from August, we've got this in hand. I mean, if there was ever I'm not sure, guys, and I guess I'm not going to bury the lead here. I'm not sure this is going to be my figure of the year, but like, this is one of my favorite Hot Toys ever to unbox. It was just such a cool experience.
I mean, yeah. It is a great figure. It's interesting though, because it's like, it's kind of the same issue I kind of have with the show. I want it to be so great. Same thing with the figure. I want it to be so great because that's what the expectations are. This one lives up pretty close to it. It's just that I think the expectations were just so high that I don't think it can quite live up to it. But I do really like this figure. It's great. It has, the tailoring's great. The all the weaponry is great. It's just a classic figure. It's Star Wars, so I just really like it a lot. Not without fault, like you said, Bryan. There's some things, if you want to talk about it in a bit, some downsides to it, but Hot Toys delivered.
I mean, Chris, this isn't an image from
the
first season. This is the figure. I mean,
that's
wow.
that's the thing about this figure. It really, to me, it just looks like there's a small human being in a suit on your shelf. That's the part of this figure that I just can't get over, is how realistic it looks in obviously in certain poses and stuff like that and certain lighting, but it's just, for me, obviously, it was highly anticipated figure to get in hand. Was really hoping to have it for the beginning of season 2, just so I could have something Mando on the shelf. So I just, again, I haven't really messed with this figure too much. I kind of unboxed it, took it in, like Bryan was saying, just opening this figure up is just so cool. And I just I did a pretty basic pose on the shelf. I'll get to know what it's like to try to put this figure in dynamic poses and the hindrances that may occur. But again, I've shown this figure to several non-collectors, and they literally could not comprehend how, like, their jaw drop, and they're like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I think part of that is just, the Mando just has that presence, and he's just so cool. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's a cool figure, and I can't wait to get that deluxe so I can kind of mix and match with this one.
All right, we got to be Debbie Downer a little bit, guys. Yep. So let's run through the things to note, or just to be careful when you get this yourself if you haven't gotten it yet. I'm going to give it a full recommendation, regardless if I don't give this perfect 5s or not. So, we've got a shot on the screen here. You can see the entire figure, and it allows us to kind of talk through. Actually, that doesn't have the Beskar shoulder on here. Let me try to maybe find a little bit better one here. We'll just go with this one. So let's just go top to bottom. Helmet is incredible. Love the weathering on it. Very cool. All the armor pieces, guys, are Velcro. You can pull them off. The shoulder pad that he has, and I guess we can talk about season 1 because it's not really spoiling anything at this part. It's over a year old. All the shoulder armor and everything is Velcro. It can come off, so you can. In chapter 1, he gets the changes out. He gets a Beskar shoulder armor pad thing. You can update that top to bottom. So the rifle peg. I said I wasn't gonna insert it onto the shoulder ammo strap. I did. It was really difficult to get it to come out. I was worried about breaking it. The other thing that I'm really concerned about, and I don't know if it's just my figure or another, you can't actually push it all the way in, or it sticks out a little bit. The thickness of the ammo belt doesn't allow it to go all the way in. So if you have him with it on, if you're looking front on, you're probably not going to be able to tell. But if you look at it from the side, you're going to be able to see that there's that gap there. Now, I know why they did it, because it's screen accurate to what you see when he doesn't have the rifle on. However, they still could have had that little indentation where it looks like it would peg in, but just make it a magnet. And I think it would have really solved a lot of different things there. And I don't think a magnet would have been much more expensive than what they did there. The other thing, guys, it's the undersuit, fat suit. I know a lot of different things. Hold on, guys. Pet friends.
Yeah, I just tried it. It had already been hit its limit.
Oh, well, it's more important that we have
$2.
Yeah. It's worth to sacrifice $2 to have a good conversation about Mando with you guys. So, guys, it's the fat suit. I see Zach with Collecting Weekly out there on his channel. He did a fat suit removal video. If you really want to take it off, I'm kind of with our friend Roy on this. The thing that I love about this figure is it looks like a guy in a suit, and it looks like he's bulked up, and that's what the fat suit underneath the padded suit gives it. The problem with that, and I spent about an hour myself this past weekend getting it set up, is because it's all one suit underneath. It's all interconnected. It bunches at the shoulders. You can't really move. You can't get the arms to go up very high. It's really hard to get a deep elbow bend. I would like to know how some of the bloggers got some of the photos that they did. Now, Chris, if you do the full fat suit removal, to me, he looks like anorexic Mando. He just looks too skinny. He doesn't look screen accurate. But I have seen, I've been talking to Zach a little bit in our group, is there's a little bit of a compromise where if you safely remove everything, and Zach shows in his video that everything comes off essentially Velcro, is you could take the suit down to the basic suit material, and actually, instead of removing the full padded suit underneath, it's to, cut away at like the elbow joint to give it room to, to go in, to cut little seams at like the shoulders, at the hips, at the knee, basically where any of the joints are, to kind of really give it a little bit more articulation. If you have it in a pretty museum pose, you're not going to run into too much of an issue, but I think it would help. I do not like to modify my figures. It's just something I'm not super comfortable with. The most I've ever done was I took the Rogue One Darth Vader and I moved the shoulder straps from underneath the shoulder pads to over, so it looked like more from Rogue One and A New Hope. But that's about what I've done. I just don't do it all that often. And then I might as well just keep rambling while I'm pulling a Letty here. Is the hands. I wish it came with another set of hands. There's just one few too many. Like a good relaxed set of hands would have been helpful. And another concern is the deep, and I'm red-green colorblind, so it's hard for me to tell, but obviously the paint that is on his hands, whether it's yellow or orange or whatever it is, just be careful when you put the pistol or the rifle in, because the paint will rub off on the rifle. Mine has it now. I'll be okay with it. It looks like it's going to be weathered or kind of battle damaged or whatever, but the paint will rub off on either the pistol or the rifle butt handle. So apologize, guys. I just kind of rattled through all the things that I have concerns with. And I'm sure those are probably a lot of the gripes that people do have about the figure. Oh, and one more thing while I'm at it, the little detonator, the last of the 3 thermal detonators does not stay in his little belt pouch. And the little tracking fob is too small for his hands. I just might as well keep pulling the Letty.
Yeah.
I've heard trash.
Yeah, it's garbage. Throw this thing away. Yeah, I know a lot of people complain about the sand base with the footprints.
Oh, that too.
Was not the coolest thing. Yeah, I mean, all that stuff is legit issues. Hopefully, again, I haven't watched any reviews on the Beskar, release to see if it's a lot of the same things going on with this figure. But I don't know. Hopefully going forward, Hot Toys can, they usually improve on stuff. It's kind of a bummer they, didn't have more magnet type features on this figure.
I mean, this is a really simple, effective pose. I mean, even something like this, I'll probably end up with.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably going to have simple pose too. It's just, people that want to do photography, they want to get the cool action poses, and I understand that. Hopefully, yeah,
there's a cost baby Yoda with one of them.
Yeah, it's too funny. You never know what the bloggers are going to do with some of these picks, but yeah, I mean, again, I think a lot of this figure is about the shelf presence, and even in a pretty standard pose, he has that presence. Some of these poses are just, nobody's ever gonna set them up on in their display like some of this stuff, but yeah, I mean, it's Mando. It's just so cool. I think this is a must have figure if you're a Star Wars fan, if you're a fan of the series. Definitely get it while it's still at retail. We don't know what kind of numbers this figure has as far as production goes, but me personally, like, I don't think we would get a reissue of this figure just because there's so many figures backlogged from Hot Toys. So if you're a collector that likes, a first edition or the rookie card version of a figure, I mean, this is a great one to have on the shelf, even just to represent the series.
Yeah. If only it had everything that you would want for it to be like the best figure that they released this year, maybe even all time. But the thing is, there's just too many little things, like with the gun holster, like you said, Brian. The fat suit's not ideal. They could have done better, in my opinion, than what they put out. And then some of the lacking accessories. So, like, to me, the Beskar version is just has major trump cards over this release with the double with 2 Baby Yodas and all those other accessories. It leaves you wanting. Like, if you're only gonna pick this original version, you're missing so many key things. And it's obviously, if you get both, it doesn't matter. But if you're just looking at this in isolation, it's missing things. But the counterpoint is, it's just freaking cool.
Yeah.
So before we give our reviews, so at Robert's suggestion, again, one of our Gare Bear award winners at Giving Thanks, had made the suggestion to, hey, everybody share your photos. So these are not professionals, but these are our scavenger community of things that they shared. And, definitely want to go. Some people also, gave some reviews. I saw it ranging. Somebody gave it a 4 because they were so concerned with a lot of the issues that we just said. I couldn't even count the number of 5s that people were giving it. Some just a little bit less. If you had to take an average score, I would say Scavengers probably gave it about like a 4.9. I mean, that's how strong, and I really like some of the poses that some people had. There's not a lot of names to go with some of these, but I mean, just look how photogenic this helmet looks in different lighting.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these are people's collections. These are not the blogger photos. Maybe Robin made a quick appearance here too. The photo ended up, this one was mine. This was my photo here in my kitchen. Again, struggled with the hand holding the rifle a little bit. And this was after about an hour. I'm still not super thrilled with the pose. I'll come up with something else. We've got, I think this was John Martino's post of his, a couple others here. This one, I think, was Harold's. I don't know, he posted a lot of pictures out on Instagram or not, but I mean, this is a really cool shot with lighting underneath. This one, I think, was Zach with Collecting Weekly. And I think this may be with the fat suit removed. And I know he's since done some work there, but I mean, that's the kind of dynamic pose you can get with you removing the fat suit versus not. You definitely could not get the arm up at that angle with the fat suit on. Another cool one, I think this might be Bryan's. I've got the Cost Baby Yoda there too. I think this was Dan Lee's, and this one just makes my back hurt. The lurching back to grab the rifle here. This just looks like the back's going to snap in two, but definitely a great shot as well. I think this was Ian over at Collecting Weekly as well. Did a little custom weathering to this. Has his own Beskar Ignats with that.
Oh, yeah. Looked like it was just walking through Tatooine.
Yep. There's another good photo here. This might be Jason K. This is a cool shot. This is kind of a B-roll of somebody posting one. And I think this was Jason S., one of our other winners earlier today. I think he's got I think this might be the Hallmark Baby Yoda. I know a lot of people have tried, using that as well. This was just a great shot too. A lot of natural lighting on this one. Zach's correcting me. He said his picture was with the fat suit cut like we discussed, but still in the figure. So my bad. I just assumed that it was. So apologies. And again, got another shot here. I think this was the Artifacts statue underneath here. And then I think this was Chris M., one of our other winners, holding up some Jawas here. So Whew. All right. We are ending up with a supersized episode this week, guys. I didn't think we would, but we do. And I think it's time for our own personal ratings. So let's go with TC. Let's go with I think we got to go with, even though it didn't come with this, I think we got to go with the number of Camptonos that you rate this figure on. Beskar Camptonos.
4.75.
Strong.
Good figure. Has some flaws. It's not perfect, but I mean, it's just really cool.
Chris?
Yeah, you took my score. I'm at a 4.75. Ice cream makers. I mean, Camptonos.
Will Hood.
Yeah. I just think again, like I'll just reiterate, it's just a great looking figure with some serious shelf presence, and with little tweaks here and there, you can get it, bumped up. And if your plan is to get the deluxe with all the extra accessories, it definitely helps this one. It's just a bummer we didn't get some of those with this one, but yeah. Where are you at, Bryan?
Yeah, that was what I posted in our group, was 4.75. I really want to give it a 5. It's 5 in terms of aesthetic, but and screen to shelf accuracy is just there. There's enough other things to be concerned about. Just if you get it because you love Mandalorian. If we use the Roy rating scale, I don't know that I'd buy multiples of this, so I don't think it's a TC. I certainly wouldn't want to only own this figure for 3 months, so it's not a Bryan. It's got to be a Chris.
Yeah, it's a cool enough figure that even if you don't collect this line, it's worth having.
Wow. So strong recommendation all across the board. And I think it still holds up well if you get the Deluxe Beskar one as well. And I just want every iteration of the Mandalorian that they give me. I love the show. I love the character. It's quickly becoming one of my favorite Star Wars characters. So I'll leave it at that, so I don't try to convince myself to, try to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't said it. But I am super excited, Chris. This Friday. That's all I got to say. That's all I have.
I'm so glad I have the day off.
Me too. Me too. So anyways, so closing thoughts. Again, we're so thankful for our community and glad to be able to give a small amount, to some of our most active members in our Facebook community. So thank you. And again, if you're one of those winners, reach out to me and we'll settle up with you. So for our plugs, we have our website, sixscalescavengers.com, where we have our database and checklists updated daily if there's an update, and trying to keep it up to date as much as possible. We have our TeePublic store, Six Scale Scavengers there. If you go to teepublic.com and I think it's user Six Scale Scavengers, you'll find our store. There's also links from our Facebook group and also on our website as well. We are on Facebook. We're on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to listen to this in your earbuds, the audio podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Apple Music, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and sixscalescavengers.libsyn.com. If you want to grab that RSS feed, throw it into your podcast catcher of choice. And we now have an Alexa in our house. And if you say, Alexa, play Six Scale Scavengers podcast, it plays. And hopefully it didn't just hear me, because we don't have any of the dots in this room yet. So, and obviously we mentioned him earlier. Happy to have Scott from Parker Files sponsor one of our gift card winners tonight as well. Subscribe to his channel, Parker Files on YouTube, the official Marvel Hot Toys video reviewer of Six Scale Scavengers. Whew, our hour and 49 minutes, guys. Crazy talk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens when you have 6-figure releases. And it's funny. It's funny how we've had a few of these waves where, we get 6-figure releases and then 1 or 2, and then 6 now. And what's it going to look like next time around? I hope for another six-figure release, whether it's, figures up for pre-order or released in Hong Kong. But as we always speculate, what's coming next. We've had a few figures teased, and we have other figures so many figures waiting in the pipeline to get released. So let's see them.
Yeah, TC, historically, we may get some announcements in December, but very rarely are you going to see a figure released in December. So I'm figuring we've got Friday the 27th and Monday the 30th to potentially get IG-11 and Heavy Mando. Otherwise, they're going to be next year. We could still get some announcements. And like I said, if it doesn't get, I think I looked back in our database, there's maybe in, however long basically the database goes back to 2008 for Marvel. There's only a small handful of figures that have actually been released in Hong Kong in December. So don't get your hopes up too much. Just, obviously, as collecting, do it in moderation, do it because you love it. And, but we could still get some figure announcements for pre-orders and stuff. And then obviously once January hits, January 1st, my prediction, Mark 85, but maybe we'll get a Mark 85 and then an announcement of Mark 1 diecast. That would just be insane. MMS 600, right, TC?
I mean, yeah, it's a lock.
At this point, it has to be.
Put in the bet in Vegas, man.
Odds are like 2 to 5.
All right.
Ooh, very strong, very strong.
Yes.
So anyways, and again, we had some shout outs throughout the episode. Check out our friends at Collecting Weekly. 6 Scale Economist chimed in earlier. Check out his channel. And obviously Parker Files. That's one of these things about the community is we're all in it together. So go out and support everybody.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. I think that's going to do it. Again, happy Thanksgiving from the Scavengers, from the Scavengers Council and the admin team, the moderators, everybody. Mike, thanks again for helping us out again tonight. We certainly appreciate it, my friend. And Chris, bring us home, my friend.
Excelsior.